Hello everyone. The present topic is on sources and functions of dietary fiber and minerals. The purpose of the program is to enable students understand the significance of dietary fiber in the diet and its sources, the function that these micronutrients perform in the body, the different types of minerals present in the foods, and other important and relevant points. Minerals are essential nutrients human body needs in small amounts to work efficiently. They are considered essential because they perform hundreds of roles in the body, such as helping in bone formation, healing wounds and bolstering the immune system, converting the food into energy and repair the cellular damage. Some important characteristics of minerals are they are the natural components of the food and usually present in very small amounts, less than 1 gram maximum. They are essential for normal physiological function, example growth, maintenance and reproduction. They are generally taken care by the normal diet, but when absent from the diet, they will definitely cause a deficiency. As much as 6% of the total body weight consists of minerals, 4/5 of this present in the skeleton. They are the constants of the bones and teeth and help to regulate many metabolisms. Dietary fiber, however not a nutrient, plays a most significant role in the body. Stemming from a class of complex carbohydrates, it has been classified into soluble and insoluble dietary fiber. It is most abundant in green leafy vegetables, fruits and whole grains. Every day, the body produces a number of cells in skin, muscle and bone. It churns out rich red blood that carries nutrients and oxygen to remote outposts, and it sends the nerve signals skipping along thousands of miles of brain and body pathways. It also formulates chemical messengers that shuttle from one organ to another, issuing the instruction that help sustain life. But to do all this, body requires some raw materials. These include at least 30 vitamins, minerals and dietary components. Minerals are considered essential nutrients as they have to be supplied by diet. Although they are considered as micronutrients, vitamins and minerals differ in basic ways. Minerals are inorganic and hold on to their chemical structure. Except for the organically bound elements hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen and oxygen, there are about 20 or so inorganic mineral elements which are essential to animal life, including fish and shrimp also. The essential mineral elements are usually classified into two main groups per their concentration in the animal body. They are macro elements and the micro elements. Macro elements. They are further classified as principal cations and principal anions. For example, cations include calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium. Anions include phosphorus, chlorine, sulfur, etc. Trace or microelements include the most essential elements like iron, fluorine, zinc, vanadium, manganese, chromium, copper, molybdenum, iodine, selenium, cobalt, tin, nickel and silicon. In general, minerals perform the following functions. Minerals are essential constituents of skeletal structures such as bones and teeth. They play a key role in the maintenance of osmotic pressure and thus regulate the exchange of water and solutes within the body. Minerals serve as structural constituents of soft tissues. They are essential for the transmission of nerve impulses and muscle contraction. They play a vital role in the acid-base equilibrium of the body and thus regulate the pH of the blood and other body fluids. Minerals serve as essential components of many enzymes, vitamins, hormones and respiratory pigments, or as cofactors in metabolism, catalysts and enzyme activators. As much as 6% of the body weight consists of minerals, 4/5 of this present in the skeleton. Depending upon their amount in the body, minerals can be explained as already mentioned earlier as macro and micro minerals. Macro minerals, they are present in amounts greater than 0.005% of the total body weight and are required in amounts greater than 100 milligrams a day. We can take example of calcium, sodium, potassium, etc. Microelements. These are present in less than 0.005% of the total body weight and are required in amounts less than 100 milligrams per day. Iron, zinc, manganese, copper, selenium, iodine, chromium are other examples. To mention, iron is required for women around 32 milligrams per day. Macrominerals. First includes calcium. Calcium forms an essential component of bone, cartilage and the crustacean exoskeleton. It helps in the normal clotting of blood and by stimulating the release of thromboplastin from the blood platelets. It is an activator for several key enzymes including pancreatic lipase, acid phosphatase, choline esterase, ATPases and succinic dehydrogenase. It stimulates muscle contraction, that is, it promotes muscle tone and normal heartbeat. It regulates the transmission of nerve impulses from one cell to other. It plays a key role in the regulation of the permeability of cell membranes and consequently over the uptake of nutrients by the cell. Calcium is believed to be essential for the absorption of vitamin B12 from GIT. Rich sources of calcium include milk, yogurt, in India we call it as dahi, cheese, paneer, D-lactose whey powder, dried skim milk, etc. Green leaf vegetables, legumes, fortified foods, almonds, fish, limestone, oyster shell, bone meal, rock phosphate, crab, shrimp meal, other foods also contain calcium. Alfalfa meal is having calcium to an extent of 1 to 5%. All these are generally used for fortification of food rather than direct consumption. Magnesium. It is an essential component of bone, cartilage and the crustacean exoskeleton. Magnesium is an activator of several key enzyme systems including kinases, mutases, muscle ATPases. It stimulates muscle and nerve irritability and is involved in the regulation of intracellular acid-base balance. It plays an important role in carbohydrate, protein and lipid metabolism. Sources include meat and bone meal, rice bran, kelp meal, sunflower seed meal. All this include 1 to 0.75% milligrams. Wheat bran, wheat meal bran, rice polishings, rapeseed meal, shrimp meal, cottonseed meal, linseed meal, poultry manure and crab meal include and they comprise of 0.5 to 0.75%. Phosphorus. It is an essential component of the bone, cartilage and the crustacean exoskeleton. It is essential component of phospholipids, nucleic acids, phosphoproteins, high energy phosphate esters, hexose phosphates, creatinine phosphate and several key enzymes. Plays a central role in energy and cell metabolism. Inorganic phosphates serve as important buffers to regulate the normal acid-base balance. Sources include dicalcium phosphate, rock phosphate, bone meal to an extent of 10 to 20%. Meat, bone meal, meat meal, white fish meal, shrimp meal, poultry byproducts meal, dried poultry manure will be accounting to 2 to 5%. Rice bran, rice polishings, wheat bran, wheat meal bran, dried brewers yeast, sunflower seed meal, cottonseed meal, rapeseed meal, sesame seed meal and dried D-lactose whey include 1 to 2%. Potassium. It helps in muscles and nervous system function. It facilitates many reactions, especially protein synthesis. It also helps the body to maintain the balance of water in the blood and body tissues. Sources include meats, milk, fruits, vegetables, grains, legumes. Sodium. It is essential for maintaining normal blood pressure and balance of body fluids and for transmitting nerve signals. Sources include salt, soya sauce, processed foods, cured, canned, pickled and many other prepackaged foods. Sulfur. It is a component of protein, especially several key amino acids like methionine and cysteine, vitamins like thiamine and biotin, the hormone insulin and the crustacean exoskeleton. It is an essential component of heparin. Heparin is anticoagulant. That is, generally when snake venom is ingested, heparin is given as an anticoagulant. Chondroitin, fibrinogen, taurine. Several key enzyme systems such as coenzyme A, glutathione depend for their activity on free sulfur-hydryl groups. Sulfur is believed to be involved in the detoxification of aromatic compounds within the animal body. Sources include all protein foods like fish meal, chicken, eggs, hydrolyzed feather meal, etc. Chloride. It is a part of stomach acid, helps in acid-base balance and water balance. Table salt, soya sauce, processed foods are other sources. Microminerals include first one, that is zinc. Zinc is important for strong immunity, wound healing, essential for cell reproduction, normal growth and development in children. Part of insulin and enzymes. It helps as vitamin A transport. It promotes enzyme activity by serving as a cofactor. Plays a vital role in lipid, protein and carbohydrate metabolism, being particularly active in the synthesis and metabolism of nucleic acids such as RNA and proteins. Although not proven, it has been suggested that zinc plays a role in the action of hormones such as insulin, glucagon, corticotrophin, FSH and LH. Sources include protein foods like red meat, seafoods, oysters, clams, poultry, eggs, dairy foods and grains. Other dietary sources include chick hatchery, dried candida yeast, dehydrated fish solubles, dried distillers, grains with solubles, dried poultry manure, etc. Poultry byproducts meal, wheat bran, rice meal, wheat middlings, crab meal, sunflower seed meal, dried torula yeast also comprises of zinc. Iron. It is required for the production of RBC and thus 70% of your body's iron is found in RBC. It is also a part of pigments called as hemoglobin in RBC and in muscles it is called as myoglobin. As a component of respiratory pigments and enzymes, it is concerned in tissue oxidation. Iron is an essential component of various enzyme systems. Iron is essential for oxygen and electron transport within the body. It helps to metabolize proteins. Sources include red meat, fish, chicken, lentils, beans, leafy vegetables, raisins, watermelon, figs, etc. Blood meal, kelp meal, coconut meal, meat and bone meal, sunflower seed meal, dried distiller soluble, all these are generally used for fortification of foods, which further includes alpha meal, crab meal, condensed fish solubles, fish meal, meat meal, poultry byproduct meal, linseed meal, dried brewers yeast and rice bran and other foods as such. Iodine. Iodine is an integral component of the thyroid hormones thyroxine, triiodothyronine, and as such it is essential for regulating the metabolic rate of all body processes. It is also essential in pregnancy for early and healthy formation of growth of fetal organs. It is needed by cells to convert food into energy. The best source of iodine is iodized salt. All seafoods and other foodstuffs of marine origin also contain iodine. Selenium. It is an essential component of enzyme glutathione peroxidase together with tocopherols vitamin E. It serves to protect cellular tissues and membranes against oxidative damage. It has also been suggested that selenium participates in the biosynthesis of ubiquinone, that is coenzyme Q, involved in cellular electron transport and influences the absorption and retention of vitamin E. It improves immune system response. Sources: Seafood, meat, grains, nut, fish meal are all rich sources. Dried brewers yeast, corn gluten meal, dried torula yeast, rapeseed meal and cottonseed meal along with other middlings include the moderate sources. Manganese. It functions in the body as an enzyme activator for those enzymes that mediate phosphate group transfer. It functions as a cofactor or component of several key enzyme systems. Manganese is essential for bone formation and regeneration of RBC and carbohydrate metabolism and other reproductive cycle processes. Copper. It is necessary for the formation of hemoglobin, part of energy metabolism enzymes. Copper is an essential component of numerous oxidation reduction enzyme systems. It is intimately involved with iron metabolism and therefore hemoglobin synthesis and RBC production and maintenance. Copper is also believed to be necessary for the formation of pigment melanin and consequently skin pigmentation, for the formation of bone and connective tissue, and for maintaining the integrity of myelin sheath of nerve fibers. Organ meats, shellfish, nuts, seeds, legumes, peanut butter, chocolate are all rich dietary sources. Corn distillers grains, soluble and dehydrated poultry manure are moderate sources. Dried brewers yeast, crab meal, corn gluten meal, linseed meal, soybean meal, dried brewers grains, meat mill run, millet, cottonseed meal and wheat middlings and copra meal are the poor sources. Fluoride. It provides resistance to dental caries. Fluoride helps to reduce tooth decay. Adding fluoride to tap water, that is called as fluorination, helps reduce cavities in children by more than half. Formation of bone and teeth also fluoride plays a key role. Fluoride low doses may be used to treat conditions that cause faster than normal bone loss such as menopause. Sources include drinking water, tea and seafoods. Infant can only get fluoride through drinking infant formulas. Chromium. Responsible for metabolism and breakdown of insulin and enhances its effectiveness. It aids in metabolism of carbohydrates, lipids as trivalent chromium. Sources include mushroom, dark chocolate, prunes, nuts, asparagus, brewer's yeast, whole grains, vegetable oils. Rich dietary sources include trivalent chromium from chick shell meal, shrimp tail meal, Artemia salina, dried brewer's yeast, shellfish, liver, poultry byproducts also include chromium. Molybdenum. It aids in the oxidation reactions as a part of vitamin B12, aids in nerve function and blood formation. Cobalt is an integral part of cyanocobalamin, that is B12. It as such is essential for RBC formation and the maintenance of nerve tissue. Although not confirmed, cobalt may also function as an activating agent for various enzyme systems. Sources include legumes, cereals, grains, organ meats, milk, milk products and copra meal. Linseed meal, dried brewer's yeast, fish meal, meat meal, cottonseed meal and soybean meal also contain cobalt. Fiber. Originally, fiber was defined to be the components of plant that resist human digestive enzymes, a definition that includes lignin and polysaccharides. The definition was later changed to include resistant starch along with inulin and other oligosaccharides. Dietary fiber is not a nutrient. It is very important in our diets. The fact is that it passes through the body without being absorbed, and that's the main reason why fiber is so important. It is a component of complex carbohydrates, namely polysaccharides and oligosaccharides. It includes two categories: non-starch polysaccharide, example cellulose, hemicellulose, gums and pectins; oligosaccharides, which include lignin and other plant substances like waxes and suberin. Dietary fiber may also be classified into two types depending on their degree of solubility. soluble fiber, that is gums, starch, pectin, waxes, insoluble fiber, cellulose, hemicellulose and inulin. Dietary fibers have three primary mechanisms. First, bulking, viscosity and fermentation. Bulking fibers can be soluble, example xylem, or insoluble like cellulose and hemicellulose. Dietary fibers can change the nature of the contents of gastrointestinal tract and can change how other nutrients and chemicals are absorbed through bulking and viscosity. Some types of soluble fibers bind to bile acids in small intestine, making them less likely to enter the body. Insoluble fiber is associated with reduced diabetes risk, but the mechanism by which this occurs is unknown. One type of insoluble dietary fiber is resistant starch that has been shown to directly increase insulin sensitivity in healthy people in type 2 diabetes and in individuals with insulin resistance, possibly contributing to reduced risk of type 2 diabetes. Functions. First important function is bowel function. The effects of dietary fiber in the colon are on changes in the water holding capacity after fermentation of dietary fiber, particularly insoluble fiber. It helps prevent constipation by increasing stool weight and decreases the gut transit time. This effect is enhanced if fiber intake is parallel with increase in water intake. Short chain fatty acid produced when fiber is fermented by gut bacterial enzyme activity are an important source of energy for colon cells and might inhibit growth and proliferation of gut tumor cells. By improving bowel function, dietary fiber can reduce the risk of diseases and disorders such as diverticular disease or hemorrhoids and may also have a protective effect on colon. Blood glucose level and impact of dietary fiber. Soluble fiber may slow digestion and absorption of carbohydrates and hence lower the rise in blood glucose that follows a meal, especially postprandial, that means after the food, and insulin response also. This can help people with diabetes improve control over their blood glucose level. Dietary fiber acts on each phase of ingestion, digestion, absorption and excretion of cholesterol metabolism also. That's how caloric energy of foods through a bulking effect, slowing the gastric emptying time and reducing the glycemic index of action on absorption, a slowing of bile acid absorption in the ileum, so bile acids escape through the cecum, altered or increased bile acid metabolism in the cecum, indirectly by absorbed short chain fatty acids, especially propionic acid resulting from fiber fermentation affecting the cholesterol metabolism in the liver. Lastly, binding of bile acids to fiber or bacteria in the cecum with increased fecal loss from the enterohepatic circulation. Results of epidemiological studies identify another role for dietary fiber in the prevention of coronary heart disease, that of improving blood lipid profile. Clinical trials confirm the results of these studies. Isolated viscous fibers such as pectin, rice bran, oat bran, they lower the total serum cholesterol and LDL, low density lipoprotein. It is also called as bad cholesterol. At the same time, research continues to show that diets high in a mix of high dietary fiber also protect against CHD. It may be having a satiating effect on appetite, helping in weight management. These signals of satiation may be induced through cephalic and gastric phase responses related to bulking effect of dietary fiber on energy density and palatability, whereas the viscosity producing effects of certain fibers may enhance satiety through intestinal phase events related to modified gastrointestinal function and subsequent delay in fat absorption. This is related to fiber's ability to add bulk and weight to the diet. There are also indications that women may be more sensitive to dietary manipulation with fiber than men. The relationship of body weight status and fiber effect on energy intake suggests that obese individuals may be more likely to reduce food intake with dietary fiber inclusion. We have learned the sources and physiological functions of fiber and minerals that was dealt in the present topic in detail. Thank you.